So welcome everyone to this new series of interviews. Today I have Sam Gwilt from Sam Does Design with me doing the first interview. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right, so today I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you can take as much time as you want to answer the questions. It can be like a discussion as well, and then we'll talk about a specific topic at the end.
Mm-hmm.
My first question for you is, in your eyes, what is the definition of design? Like, what does design mean to you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big question. I think design, for me personally, design is going to sit on a scale between engineering and getting stuff done and made and real, and art on the other side of the scale, where it's like emotion and feeling and humanity. Design is in the middle and it bridges the two. And I think it's more than valid to say, engineering is great for things getting done, but without design and without the humanity and the humility of it, it's going to miss the mark. And people, you need to bear people in mind.
Yeah.
So I feel like design is engineering that cares more about, like, the people come first and then getting it done comes second, whereas engineering is getting it done comes first and then maybe the people come second.
Yeah, because you talk about the technology and then you go towards execution.
Yeah. There's a lecturer. In fact, it wasn't even a lecturer that I had, but it was on a university open day that I went to at Loughborough, and I didn't go to Loughborough in the end, but this person stuck with me for their way of thinking about it, the lecturer. And he said, design is working on the product from the outside in.
Mm. Wow, yeah.
So you think about the outside world, the way that someone is going to use it, the way someone's going to feel about using it, and all those emotions, and then afterwards you think about inside. Whereas engineering is you work from the inside out, and how's it going to work, and how's it going to do what it's going to do, and then maybe like we'll figure out what it looks like afterwards.
Yeah, and how the person uses it and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's always potentially a second thought for an engineer, whereas how it works is a second thought for a designer.
Yeah.
And the goal is, I think, to try and do both. But you can't. I don't think you can have one without the other, because otherwise it just wouldn't make sense. It will, design without engineering is just not possible, and engineering without design is just not human.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a strong idea. Yeah.
I don't want to annoy any engineers when I say that.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it feels like for quite a while, design, the synonym of design was like decoration and like aesthetic, and I mean, I feel like it's not that anymore. Or maybe I don't know if it ever was. Maybe it was more of like a public view of product design, because you see like old designers and their goal wasn't simply to make beautiful things. It was also to think about, okay, how is this user going to use this product? What context are we talking about? And all these things as well. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Next question. Okay, I need to ask you this because how do you feel? How do you feel about these digital product designers who are stealing our name, our job title?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you search product design job in LinkedIn or Google or anywhere, it's always going to be UX and UI and digital app and web developers. That's just what they call themselves.
Yeah.
And for a while, I wanted to fight back against that, because I feel like that changed so that change happened while I was at university, and I was, separated from the outside world. I just knew the university, and then I came out the other side, and I was like, oh wait, like when did this happen? When did that change happen? So I wanted to fight back and push against it. But the fact of the matter is, there are so many web and UX designers out there. Like, we are outnumbered probably like 50 to 1, 100 to 1.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I've just kind of said, you know what? Okay, you have that, and you know what they call us? They call us hardware designers. Like, they've come up with their own term for us, which is hardware. Which, fine, it makes sense. I get it, fine.
Yeah.
But in the same way that they want to call themselves product designers because they do the whole product, I want to call myself a product designer because I think of the whole product as well.
Definitely.
Just to say I'm just a hardware designer is not fair, I don't think. But you know what? We're all trying to figure out. Design as a practice is only like 100 years old.
Yeah.
As a field. But we're also figuring it out as we go along. So yeah, I'm happy to use industrial designer now. That's what I would describe myself as. And also, I think the public is starting to figure out what industrial design is as well.
Yeah.
With companies like Apple in their adverts, they say the industrial design, and that's more and more in people's minds. So maybe it's fine.
Yeah. I mean.
Cool. Yeah.
Sorry. But I mean, in France, for example, when we're speaking in French, this whole like product design, like digital product designer, it hasn't happened in the French culture. So it's still like, I would still call myself a product designer in French. But when I'm speaking to English like speaking people, I say industrial designer. But I don't know if industrial designer. I like the term. It's not. I think it also like works well with our jobs, but it's very confusing for people sometimes. Because they're like, okay, so what do you like? Like for example, here in France we have this Musée Pompidou. It's this museum, and it has and the entire outside, it looks like a very like industrial factory. Right? Yeah, with the stairs.
It took me a second to think about which building it was, but I know, like it's the outside, the inside is outside, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And you have these big metal tubes for the AC, and you can see all the things, right? And they're like, oh, so you do that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But then I think about like, sometimes you hear job titles, and then you find out the job description, you're like, wow, I would never have guessed that. So maybe it's not too bad. But
yeah, well, this is the thing, like every company that's posting a job advert, they're all just making up their own terms for whatever fits their company structure, so there's not like a standardized name for anything, and each company is just doing its own thing. So yeah, you have to just click on the job description and see what it says, because you don't know from the title. It's a lot of time wasting, but it has to be done. But
I was actually like, there was this post on Reddit, on this industrial design subreddit, and someone was raging about this subject.
Reddit raging? I can't imagine it. Reddit, surely.
Yeah, this guy was like, who else is like super annoyed that digital product designers are calling themselves product designers? And so I responded, I commented on the thing, and then someone was like, oh, you know what? I just searched Rhino on the search in job, like when I'm looking on job websites, and I'm like, that's clever.
That's a smart way. Yeah, so like search the programs that you know. Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Or the skills. That's actually like, I was like, whoa, and that changed everything. Now my job search is like completely different.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I never even would have thought about doing that. Yeah. That's really smart.
So you learn on Reddit. It's not a waste of time.